Let's discuss this further with Abizer Diwanji, founder of NeoStrat Advisors. Abizer, thanks very much for joining in. The saga has been unfolding in front of us, right? How the bank went down, then the rescue happened. And I guess not a bad deal for SBI to be acquiring that stake at 10 rupees a piece and now selling it at a substantial gain, I mean, over 100% gain. But what happens from here? Sumitomo, a large, Japanese giant, but sort of their first exposure to retail banking here in India. In terms of the transaction and the path forward from here, I mean, would you expect them to eventually look at hiking their stake? What should investors expect?
So for now, I think RBI has taken a big leap in actually allowing a foreign bank, financial institution, to own more than 10% in an Indian bank. I think that's a breakthrough in itself, and I think the right one. So RBI has now said that, hopefully will approve, to say that now you can acquire a 20% stake in a domestic bank by a foreign bank or a foreign regulated institution, which I think is a big thing. Going forward, the natural choice would be that, 20% you're neither here nor there. So yes, you have SMFF, the erstwhile Fullerton company, which could be potentially merged in. RBI also has a regulation which says that you can't have more than 1 point of banking or financial services presence in the country. So 1 point of banking presence or includes an NBFC. So ideally, if they were to merge it, I think they could well go up to 45, 47%. Depending on the price, and thereafter, of course, if there could be public fresh follow-on offering or a open offer presentation, I think Sumitomo does have a outside chance, subject to RBI approval, actually gaining majority control in Yes Bank. And if that is the end of the transaction, I think it will be a breakthrough for Indian banking, because for one, Indian banking will actually see a flow of permanent capital, which is the most important thing. We've had ICICI Bank years earlier having a 9% stake from Temasek. And that went a big through in terms of creating confidence levels in the market for ICICI to raise their subsequent rounds of capital. So I think if Sumitomo's capital is viewed as confidence capital, or the reposed confidence into a successful turnaround of Yes Bank, then that will go a long way.
Absolutely, and a very important point. So, so the first is we have to see it, and you're saying that hiking stake could be very much on the cards, depending on how regulations and how negotiations progress. Maybe there's an open offer as well. So now in terms of realizing the hidden value in the asset, or basically sort of bringing it up to age, Yes Bank is still a far cry. I mean, before the crisis happened, I'm just going back to historical levels when the stock used to trade at 300 plus. And then, but even in between, when we had these overtures about some deal happening, we've seen highs of around 30 on the stock thereabouts. So I'm just trying to, ask you, in terms of bringing out the intrinsic value, bringing the business back to its full potential, would you expect Sumitomo to be the right fit? And should investors have reason to feel far more optimistic? Because even now, I mean, even after this 15% rally in the 1 month, stock's only at 21.
So look at it this way. I think recovery is a gradual process. So initially, we had the State Bank and the other banks put in money. They provided capital to Yes Bank. And Yes Bank has now returned the capital to increase their own Tier 1 capital, according to your own sheets that you just presented. So at the end of the day, one leg is completed, is that the rescue providers have been given an honorable and good exit. Having done that, the next phase is, in the process, they also stabilize their operations. Having stabilized the operations, now we have confidence capital coming, where somebody says that I trust you from the outside. I did not come to rescue you. I have come as a growth investor into your company. And that, I think, is a big confidence booster to the markets to say, yes, the balance sheet has been corrected. Yes, the strategy is in place, and new capital trusts it. Of course, when that capital converts into more majority capital, there will be even more confidence in the markets. So I think it's a gradual process, and yes, it's a far cry, Surabhi, but I think we're headed in the right direction.
Speaking of growth capital and rescues, Nigel and I were just discussing this before you joined Abizer. At least this has gone better than the Bhushan Power and JSW saga, right? That also was supposed to first rescue, then confidence, then growth.
Yeah, Abizer, a couple of questions, pointed questions on this. Do you think the judgment was too harsh? Do you think the court could have gone ahead with, say, a monetary penalty or something on those lines? And will it impact future cases as well? Go ahead.
I don't think it will impact future cases because I'm pretty confident that a review bench will take care of it. But yes, you're right. I think it'll head towards a penalty, which is possibly due because of the delayed plans for whatever reasons. And I think imposing a penalty is about the right charge as against putting it in liquidation because that doesn't help the very core of IBC. So I do believe that that decision will get reversed. And if it does get reversed, it will have no impact on the others.
Abizer, just a 10-second answer. So you expect the RBI to take a slightly more generous view, even if there was to be an open offer, which means Sumitomo increases the stake. You think that is a possibility?
So there is no open offer requirement now. That's a
Right now, yeah. But in future,
there is no open offer requirement. But in future, if they increase the stake, yes, there will have to be.
All right.
But I think the more important breakthrough is the RBI now open to pools of capital. So you have to understand when mid-tier banks have to grow, the market needs to be sure that they have the ability to raise good amount of capital.
Right.
In India, we have not unfortunately given licenses to corporates, which have a flow of capital available with them. So the other answer was to go institutional. Domestic institutions won't do it. So foreign institutions is a good way to actually say that why don't we do that? Domestic institutions, we do mergers and acquisitions between banks and NBFCs. That works. But otherwise, the only pool of capital available is international pool of capital. And I think I'm glad if RBI does look at this positively, I think we'll open up a huge pool of capital for Indian banking, which I think needs to grow at a multiple of what we expect the economy to grow.
Thank you very much. Interesting conversation. We had more, but we're out of time.